Hello and welcome to the program. This edition of Newsroom series covering Nigeria's Northeast. I am Bukola Koka. We begin with the day's top story. Security remains top on the agenda. Well, before we get to that, let's head to Lagos, where the State Police Command has arrested a top kidnapper who has been found to be responsible for most of the insecurity in the state. Is known as Wasiu Akinwande, also known as Olori Esho. He was captured during a special tactical operation codenamed Silence, Speed and Surprise in Agbado, Ogun State. Akinwande, the most wanted hired killer and cult leader in Lagos in recent years, is linked to over a decade of deadly crimes, including multiple murders, armed robberies, and cult-related attacks, particularly in the Mushin area. The Commissioner of Police, CP Olorundare Jimoh, has assigned the SCID Deputy Commissioner to lead a full investigation and arrest all other suspects tied to the killings. And already, 4 families have identified Akinwande as the killer of their loved ones. While he remains in custody, the police is urging the public to stay vigilant and report any suspicious activity. Many people are feared dead after a suicide bomber detonated an improvised explosive device in Konduga town, Borno State. The explosion occurred around 9:30 p.m. on Friday in Tashan Kifi, an entry point also known as Fish Market in Konduga. Reports from local sources say over 20 persons were killed in the explosion, with over 30 sustaining injuries from the female suicide attacker. Confirming the attack, spokesperson of the Borno Police Command, Daso Kenneth, says so far only 10 people died in the suicide attack. He says the command received a distress call at about 10 p.m. on Friday evening that a female suicide bomber carrying improvised explosive devices sneaked into a crowd at a local food market and detonated her explosives, leaving 10 people dead with several others injured. Security agencies later cordoned off the area and evacuated the victims, while those injured were rushed to hospitals in Maiduguri for treatment. The Taraba State House of Assembly has held a public hearing on a bill for the establishment of Taraba State University of Tropical Agriculture and Climate Change. The institution, if established, will improve agricultural research and climate adaptation initiatives in the state, boost food security, and become a breakthrough in a long-standing marginalization of the Mambila Plateau since the 1961 plebiscite held by the United Nations and resulted in the northern Cameroons joining Nigeria and the southern Cameroons joining Cameroon.
Blessed Father,
this public hearing on a bill for the establishment of the Taraba State University of Tropical Agriculture and Climate Change is aimed at enhancing food security, eliminating threats between farmers and herders, research for climate resilience, and provide jobs for the youths. The institution, which is to be sited 5,249 feet above sea level on the Mambila Plateau, is to unlock the agricultural potentials of the highland, attract investments, and boost the economy of the states to promote peace and inclusion.
This is one that it is not about politics. It is about governance. It is about the good of Taraba State. And we assure you that we will do everything possible to make sure that this bill comes into law and all the necessary tools that are needed are provided as it is within our powers to do so.
If established, it will be the second state-owned higher institution since the creation of Taraba State 34 years ago.
this is not just another university bill. It is a vision, drive step towards addressing two of the most pressing challenges in our time. That is the food security and the climate change.
The establishment of the higher institution will be a breakthrough in the long-standing marginalization of the Mambila Plateau since 1961.
The desire and the demand for university or higher education since independence 1960 has been multifold depending on the educational need for a particular state. Thus, the creation of a new state led to the more universities being established. Subsequently, many other universities sprang up to including state and private-owned universities. In view of the above, I cannot be said to be over generalization to have Chad State-owned university in Taraba State to become second after 34 years since creation of Taraba State.
The bill, co-sponsored by Taraba Assembly members from Sardauna local government area, is met with mixed reactions as to the objectives of the bill and the title therein. Nevertheless, there is a general consensus that it will bring about positive developments for Taraba State.
We're still in Taraba State, and security remains top on the agenda of the government, which is warning against any breach of peace within the state. The state government handed down this warning following the latest attack on farming communities in Bali local government area. One person was injured in the attack, with over 60 houses destroyed.
This pond, located between Tobaki and Atongo villages in Bali local government area of Taraba State, is the bone of contention between the Tiv farming communities and Fulani herders. Competition for water led to disagreements and violent attacks between the residents and some herders.
Just if a point where they are fishing water, the Tiv people are fishing water. The Fulani bring their catches there, destroy the area. When one woman came to fetch water, you saw them. They asked them, why are you spilling our water? You are drinking here. You bring your cows here. And from there, they started shouting at her, removed their knives, beat her. They don't cut them. They just beat her.
Though no life was lost in the attack, 62 houses were destroyed while one person sustained injuries.
That day we were both working in the farm. I am my uncle's wife and some of my brothers. So we saw them, they came out from that place, Fulani boys with sticks and the cutlass machetes. And we started running toward this side, and we discovered some are coming this side. Then I removed my phone while running. I called our chief, this is what happened. And then he told us he will report to the police immediately.
Displaced persons seek refuge in neighboring communities as the state government delegation arrives to provide succor for them. The state government then calls for peaceful coexistence among feuding groups, warning that any breach of peace in the state will not be tolerated.
Let's try to live in peace with our neighbors. I know you are peace-loving people. This is his words. And he has not had any cause to blame you or blame anybody for what had happened, but already it has happened. Let us learn from what has happened.
We believe that we continue to stay at peace with each other, you and Fulanis, and what we needed from you is peace. Peace is everything. Without peace, we cannot be here.
The delegation also visited the scene of the incident to gather first-hand information and suggest ways of mitigating future disputes.
As part of efforts to protect and restore the environment in some areas devastated by the Boko Haram insurgency and other crises, leaders of Michika local government area in Adamawa State have begun embarking on tree planting campaign. Speaking at the flag-off of the campaign in the area, which was organized by the state government, the traditional ruler of Michika Chiefdom, His Royal Majesty, Professor Bulus Luka Gadiga, urged the people to take deliberate steps to protect the environment. The campaign aims to sensitize the people in Michika, Mubi, and other areas affected by the insurgency on the need to embark on the afforestation exercise.
residents of Michika local government area roll out the drums to celebrate another tree planting campaign as dignitaries converge on Mukafa Chita, a suburb of Michika town in Adamawa State, for this year's tree planting campaign. They are concerned about the loss of flora and fauna, degradation of soil, desertification, and increased competition for farmland and grazing areas.
The importance of tree planting and the devastating effect of deforestation, bush burning on our environment. Trees are the lungs of the planet, providing oxygen, absorbing carbon dioxide, and supporting biodiversity.
We are part of this exercise. We are grateful because what we are doing is not for now, but for future. As everybody, the young people around that we are seeing them, as you see them now.
We know, apart from controlling fossil fuel, the bit we can do on this in this part of the world is mass tree planting. We know the effect, the impact it will have, producing oxygen, preventing flood, preventing windstorm, restoring ecosystem, particularly and biodiversity.
School children in their numbers, traditional and religious leaders joined the climate change campaign. The traditional ruler of Michika Chiefdom, His Royal Majesty Professor Bulus Luka Gadiga, an environmental scientist, stresses the importance of trees in sustaining life and biodiversity.
I'm encouraging everybody to know that preserving trees means a lot to the planet. Because once you preserve a tree, it serves not only as the lung of the planet, or we can say of the ecosystem, but it also serves as a means of protecting the soil against erosion.
The high point of the event is the flag-off of the planting of tree seedlings by dignitaries and school children.
Welcome back. The Agroclimatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscapes Project, ACRISL, says it has reclaimed over 1 million hectares of degraded land and restored dozens of ecosystems ravaged by gullies across the country, surpassing its national target. In tune with its core mandate of fighting climate change by increased implementation of sustainable landscape management practices, bioremediation and livelihood support, ACRISL says over 1,500,000 persons living around more than 200 active gullies in Gombe State have received a new lease of life. These milestones were highlighted during the working visit of the World Bank's ACRISL task team led by Dr. Joy Iganya, along with other World Bank experts to Gombe State.
This is the visit of the task team lead of the World Bank's Agroclimatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscapes project with her team of experts in geographic information systems and monitoring and evaluation as they perform a project-by-project assessment tour in Gombe State. ACRISL seems to be living up to its creed of turning moonscapes ravaged by gullies into sustainable landscapes as dozens of persons living around gully corridors welcome the delegation with joyful songs.
For us at the World Bank, what we try to do is support government. In this instance, ACRISL is working with the federal government of Nigeria and the state, and in Gombe here we have a governor that is very committed to the activities of ACRISL, and because of his commitment we are seeing the results on the ground.
So it's really exciting to see these greenhouses, the fish ponds and the different livelihood activities. So I really hope that this work can be scaled up throughout the watershed So that would generate a lot more livelihoods. So that's something that would be great to see.
For the Gombe State Acrosol Project Coordinator, Dr. Sunny Jauro, the fruit from several months of hard work is transforming Gombe State from the gully erosion capital of the Northeast to a model of resilience in landscapes management and livelihood support.
So to us as a project, all of us as a team, we are happy we have been part of the team that is making history in Gombe. We are changing the narrative. You have heard from them. They are recording, they are in a situation of living below $1 per day. And with this kind of intervention, there is every likelihood that there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. There are going to be people that will be employers of labor, not only holding the knowledge, but they will cascade it in time to come.
Projects inspected by the Acrosol team include 21 kilometers FCET, the Balanga Dam project site, distribution of climate-friendly cooking stoves, waste-to-wealth management plants, among others. For those lifted from dangerous depths of gullies to the zenith of livelihood support and resilience, Acrosol has brought them a clean bill of health.
Before the invention of this program, we are living in abject poverty. Our people at the grassroots, we don't have anything to do. We are just staying at home. And with this intervention, we are now up and doing. We have something to rely on.
Acrosol has been doing a lot. It affects the lives of people in different angles. First of all, from control of this erosion, and secondly, they provide enough resources here. And they invited specialists which came and guided us on how to take care of these ponds.
Acrosol says it remains committed to the reclamation of landscapes and bringing back livelihoods shattered by gullies.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has commissioned a seed company as part of efforts by the Gombe State government to make the state an industrial hub for the Northeast sub-region. Located inside the Muhammadu Buhari Industrial Park in the state capital, the company is initiated by the former president, who commended Governor Inoue Yahaya for setting up the park. The company is the first to start operations on the 1,000-hectare-sized industrial park project conceived by Governor Yahaya in 2020.
Governor Inoue Yahaya of Gombe State accompanies former President Olusegun Obasanjo as he arrives the 1,000 hectares Muhammadu Buhari Industrial Park in Gombe State.
And other traditional rulers.
5 years after the conception of the hub by Governor Yahaya, the first company out of over 380 prospective investors is open for business. The governor considers this step as a defining moment for the state industrialization drive and the nation's food security agenda.
This event is the first of its kind in the Muhammadu Buhari Industrial Park, marks the realization of our shared vision for agricultural transformation and industrial growth in Gombe State and indeed in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Conceived in 2020, the construction of the park is over 85% complete with close proximity to the Dadunkowa 40 megawatts hydroelectric plant, a dedicated power line, as well as a 42-kilometer road network. The project also has a 2 million cubic liters of water reticulated around the park.
The glory of God Almighty for service to humanity.
The state government aims to make Gombe an industrial hub for Nigeria's northeast region.
The industrial park, with a land mass of 1,000 hectares that can accommodate over 200 light manufacturing industries, 70 medium industries, and 40 heavy industries that will eventually lead us to full industrialization in the first of its kind in northeast sub-region of this country.
The former president initiated the company behind the seed processing factory, and he commends the state government for setting up the cluster.
If we are going to make progress in our development in this country, we will need this type of facility. which you have kindly and appropriately provided.
The Gombe State government is promising to remain steadfast in its commitment to agricultural modernization, industrial growth, and private sector collaboration.
The Yobe state government needs 1.7 trillion naira to construct and repair more than 600 urban and rural roads across the state in order to boost its economic activities. This was the outcome of the Road Sector Reform and Stakeholders Consultative Forum meeting, which held in Damaturu, the state capital, and was organized by the state's World Bank Project, Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project. The meeting, which drew members of the State Assembly, civil society organizations, commissioners, traditional and religious leaders, also recommended the establishment of 2 road agencies to source for fund as well as undertake the construction and repair of existing roads. The challenge of poor road networks has always impacted negatively on the movement of goods and persons and resulting in poor economic growth, fueling insecurity across Nigerian communities. Yobe, a state located in Nigeria's northeast with 45,000 square kilometers of landmass, has over 6,000 urban and rural roads that need construction and repairs.
So this is a workshop.
The Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project is meeting stakeholders to discuss modalities of constructing and maintenance of the roads for economic growth.
The first agency is Rural Access Road Authority. That agency is just like the road maintenance agency that we have in the state, but this one is specifically focused on designing, executing, the construction of rural roads in this. Just like the Yobe State Road Maintenance Agency, but this time around is rural roads. Then the State Road Fund. That agency is responsible for mobilizing finance for the construction and maintenance of rural roads. So there are 2 agencies. One is to mobilize finance. The other one is to execute the actual work.
The representative of the National Project Coordinator reveals that the state can only achieve the mandate through the establishment of 2 road agencies, as one of the consultants, after presentations, revealed that rural roads construction and repairs are not prioritized by most governments.
One of the major teams imagine and this consultation of the commitment by the state to reform their existing institution into more robust and accountable rural access and road agency, that's RARA, and the establishment of state road fund, that's SRR. This initiative represents a bold step towards reaching sustainability, efficiency, and transparency in rural infrastructure delivery.
For the first time, we have actually implemented a road inventory of your road system in Yobe. And for the first time, we know that you actually have 6,000 kilometers of roads rather than 4,000 kilometers of roads. So that in itself is a big finding. So, you have 50% extra roads. That means 50% additional funding that's required for your roads. But we've also found that your Class D road network, your rural road network, is mainly in poor condition. So that is the area that needs most assistance in terms of funding.
With over 70% of its population depending on agriculture, the people are optimistic that construction of new rural roads and maintenance of the existing ones will ease movement of farm produce. At least 443 pharmacies and patent medicine premises have been sealed by the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria for various sharp practices in Taraba State.
The Pharmacy Council of Nigeria is embarking on this enforcement exercise in Taraba State to sanitize and rid pharmaceutical shops of falsified, substandard medicines and to improve access to best pharmaceutical practices.
That comes to your place should be on pallets. This is on the floor.
The enforcement is also targeted at rooting out unqualified persons in the pharmaceutical practice and to stamp out the unprofessional handling of medicines by persons not recognized by the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria Act.
A total number of 656 premises were visited, comprising of 83 pharmacies and 573 patent medicine stores. A total of 443 premises were sealed, which comprised of 48 pharmacies and 395 patent medicine shops for various offenses, while 10 premises were issued compliance directives.
You do wholesale, you are pharmacy.
Some of the offences committed includes operating illegally, non-renewal of premises registration, clinical practice, access to controlled medicines by unauthorized persons, overstocking beyond the approved patent medicine list, training of apprentices and retailing by wholesale premises.
This practice of bringing somebody up an apprenticeship, quote unquote, is not allowed. The Pharmacy Council of Nigeria already has guidelines for the practice, for the operations of patent medicine vending. And it is that practice and the guideline that is being taught and being updated from year to year during these CEP programs. And that's what we shall use to bring them up to speed with regards to the category of medicines that they are trained to handle.
You go to most community pharmacies, they don't give injections in those places. It's the wholesalers who are not supposed to even be dealing with the public directly, and the patent medicine shops. That is where you see those things happening. Of all the pharmacies that have been sealed during this enforcement, none of them was sealed for clinical practice. That's what we call it in our list of offenses. No pharmacy has been sealed for providing clinical services. It's majorly the patent medicine shops.
So you don't put it against the wall.
The Pharmacy Council of Nigeria insists it will not relent in taking the right measures to ensure that Taraba residents get value for money spent on medicines to ensure efficacy and potency of each product obtained.
And that's it on the program today. Join us again same time next week when we'll bring you another round of editions covering different regions of the country. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.